come to that.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because it was involved with so many kids.
No, interlocal agreement.
Right.
I did mostly for state.
Okay, you didn't
Nah,
work in
John won't be
the
here.
facilities.
Get a little
Because
room
they require a lot of stuff. Those hospitals.
under the weather. All right. What is something?
I laid it there.
Oh, okay. God, you pull it out on us, huh?
Not really.
Okay. Well,
Just following the law.
we'll get
So that's the amount of roads that we have.
By my calculations, and that is up to just, for discussion.
Okay.
Now, well,
Let me do this first. We can get there when it's your turn.
it's my turn.
Right. 6, ooh, I think that's right. It look like 6:10. We'll call the meeting to order, Angela.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Tony Moore,
Don't hear you here.
Mayor Pro Tem John Graham,
Excuse absence.
Council members Lee Ferris,
Here.
Pam Drost,
Here.
Darlene Jordan,
Here.
and Mike Abishon.
Present. I determine that we do have a quorum, Angela. All right, item number 3. Yeah, I know, it's supposed to be 3. I see it first. Commissioner Geisler interlocal agreement when funds become readily available. Repair on the roads beginning with Ross Forest Drive. Before I turn it over to the commissioner, let me first say this. I saw one of those dumb sites they got up that, why would I choose my road first? Just for the record, and let the record show, I'm not the one who told me that my road looks worse than any, what are you doing?
Well, I'm just saying that I've been observing different streets that I thought was in the city, and if you'll look at that one in Raw Forest Bay, they're actually driving through the yard because the hole is so big your car will fit into it. So I think this comes under necessity more than picking.
In other words, what I'm trying to say is that I'm not the one who chose Raw Forest Drive. He's the one who came to me and said, you ought to get that regular road fixed. I've seen logging roads better than that.
It is. It's really bad, and I would have rather chose my road and had some work done, but...
And like I said, that is when funds become readily available, i.e., when we receive another one of the quarterly checks when Centennial decides to pay their dang on bills, and we get another big check. We'll look at it then, but I'll let the commissioner have the floor right now. And
Mayor Moore, may I say something before he says that?
Sure.
When we did the budget, we didn't budget any money for the roads. We didn't we didn't put anything in the budget to do anything to the roads.
I thought we did. I'll have to look at that then. I'll have to look at that.
Well, but it looks, if I'm not mistaken, we've got,
If we didn't, we didn't.
we've got
I thought we did.
$5,000,
I thought it was tied up in that
Basically,
interlocal agreement.
you know, credit with the county and not.
Doesn't carry over. It's $5,000 annually of.
I understand that, but, and we can spend up to $5,000 to repair a road.
That's correct, but I don't pay for the material. That is equipment and manpower.
Right, exactly. I'll look at that.
Well, yeah,
But I'm almost
again,
sure.
I think, like, you do have a budget, granted, but I mean, I think this comes under necessity.
It still depends on money though, too.
I mean, that's a bad situation over there.
Well, it is a bad situation, and yeah, it does need to be repaired, but I think we need to budget for our, we really cut our budget kind of to the wire, and I think I've asked the mayor if we could review the budget to kind of see where we are in expenditures as to income, and see if there are areas that maybe we could review the budget and see if we can come up with some money, because I agree, we do need some road repairs.
Can we have Commissioner Geisler maybe look at that road? It's one of the shorter ones on the list here. that the county's not gonna maintain, if we just have, give us a rough guesstimate what it costs to bring it up.
Well, I don't think, it would take more than $5,000 to fix the whole road. All I would like is this, it's a big spot. I know what you're talking about, where you have to drive through this lady's yard.
Well, I
to
understand
miss
that,
the whole.
but we don't know what it costs.
Right.
There's a chance we can get him. to
Now,
look
I
at
have
it.
one, Ken, I have one question before you start. I noticed that, in years past, when they put in a culvert, the, property owner would purchase the culvert, and then the county would come out with some sort of, a donated funds from the state, whatever that stuff is, you know, it's that ground up asphalt. And they would bring a load or two of that out and set the culvert so it conformed to the drainage of the road and so forth. That material. No? What do you mean no? I mean, how much is it?
Are you talking about used for a base?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a, it packs hard, it's kind of an asphalt material that is ground up, and I understood that the state had donated that,
For county road.
for county roads.
This one falls in category, from the same category. No problem.
Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead,
Could
that's
I,
my
could
only
I ask
question.
you one other question before we move on to this as well? The way this is phrased, when funds become readily available, are we approving that it be done now, that when funds become readily available? Are we going to wait when the funds are available, then we will cast a vote to see if we approve it or not?
However you want to do it, Ms. Johnson, it really doesn't matter.
Well, actually, Pam, if you'll read that, there's no acting upon that. This is basically a discussion, and Ken has come here tonight to see how far we can run with this.
I understand that, but it has been said in the past to maybe pay for a police car when the funds become readily available. And
Yeah, but that, we voted for that. We
Well,
acted upon that. But this
I
doesn't say
understand what you're
that.
saying there, Mike. I'm just saying that I would like in the future not to say when funds become available. Once the funds are available, then let's vote on it.
Well, when you start making the agenda, we'll do that, okay?
Because the reason I say that is the funds were not available when we paid for the police vehicle.
How do you know?
Because it was paid for out of savings.
I already had the money before I even asked you for it.
I'm sorry, but I
Oh.
don't believe that's true.
Well, how did it get paid off if that's not true?
It came out of the savings account.
But it got paid off, right?
Out of savings.
Whatever. Excuse
No,
me.
it's not whatever.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr.
As you all may recall, we presented, the county presented to the council last year an interlocal agreement which allows the county to perform work for the city of Cofy City for a total amount of $5,000 a year. The council approved it, it was signed,
Right.
then it was presented at Commissioner's Court. And the document that I brought in case you didn't have the stamped copy signed by the county judge, Judge Sanders. It was dated on the 22nd of March last year. There is no change whatsoever from what I addressed, and the document was signed last year. On the second page, there's an example shows in March the 15th and March the 14th of this year, you had $5,000 that you could have utilized. Those funds are still, or the man hours that equal those funds are still available. And so to address your earlier point, Mike, if you had the funds to buy base and road material, we can work the road over, you supplying the material, using Royal Forest as an example.
Well, I'm not paying you by the hour.
As an additional question that was asked, I believe, Lee, you asked the question, could we come out and give you an estimate of what it would cost to do Royal Forest? Yes. And that wouldn't be deducted from the $5,000.
Okay.
Give you an idea of how much base material you're going to need because of the condition it's in, and then how much oil sand or hot mix you would need to do it properly.
Okay, can we do that?
Arrange that within the next 2 weeks to have someone come down, measure, and then we'll present you an official quote.
I know 5,000 is not gonna cover it. But I'd like to see, and I'd really have to almost show you where it's at, but it's a big spot around it. It's a guy that's living in like a little mobile trailer, him and his family. It's a house on stilts right next to us, a yellow one.
I remember. We drove it last spring.
That section right there, if he could just tell me what that section would probably cost.
We can do it by section.
And I've got an additional question. Let's say we spent, and we'll go back through all this crap later, but let's say we spent $2,500 over there. Could we, if this is legal, we're obligated to put in a parking lot over here at the new community center. Could we possibly use the other $2,500 towards that parking lot, or is that against any kind of laws or anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
It still worked within the city of Cofy City.
Okay, because we're responsible for that parking lot.
Still Cofy City maintained.
That would be great.
And then we might just use the whole 5,000 for that, but that's part of the requirement to get the government off our back over there.
But to go back to your earlier question about the materials that are donated from the state to the county, in the past, it has been used by counties within the state of Texas to do things other than upgrade county roads. There was a lot of investigations done, and at this point, it used to be when they were doing work on 175 or one of the farmer markets, and they were harvesting, if you will, those millions, getting ready to resurface that road. The counties could just go over and they would load the trucks for the county, and it was a win-win situation. TxDOT didn't have to have a contractor or their own trucks hauling it somewhere. But when they found that it wasn't being used on county roads, it was used in parking lots, et cetera, they tightened the reins on, or heightened the control of the allocation of those milling materials that TxDOT had. To the point now that we get a set allocation for each one of the 4 Henderson County Commissioners. We have to go somewhere where it has been stockpiled. There's a person that watches the trucks being loaded to make sure that we do not get more than our allocated amount for the year.
That sounds like a good job. I can handle that one.
You gotta be joking.
I wish. It's government and stuff.
I have
So there is no way that I
no way
would
you can do
risk.
it. We couldn't even purchase it for the county.
No.
That's a shame. That is really a shame. It always seems like someone messes up a good thing, doesn't it?
It only takes one.
It only takes one incident. I remember the state used to clean out ditches and so forth and give that dirt to people to fill in their yards or whatever. And then some woman called the state over something that they tore up her yard or something. That was it. And I remember a supervisor telling me that. He said, that's why I can't give you this material. So it's always one. Ken, I have an additional question regarding Briarwood Bay. Now, when you made, when you told us about, it was prior to annexing Briarwood Bay, that we had an allotment of $5,000 or thereabouts for equipment use from the county. Since Cofy City has annexed Briarwood Bay and the city has whatever, quadrupled or whatever, do we get a larger allotment of monies for the equipment use from the county?
The allotment that you get is identical to every other municipality the size of Cofy City within the Henderson County.
But that doesn't seem fair, because if the city has enlarged, it looks like the amounts appropriated for the equipment use would also be more than the $5,000.
Well, in the case of Pointer, they have 14 miles of road that they maintain, and they have the same $5,000 worth of manpower and equipment. No differently than Payne Springs or King City, Log Cabin, and the list goes on. Any of those cities, let's say excluding Athens, which has their own road maintenance department.
Mhm. Yeah,
So-
that's a shame.
It is identical.
Well, here's a $50,000 question. I know that Steve has turned in some road work to be done in Broadway Bay to you.
And it was done.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not held against Coffee City though,
No,
correct?
that was before the annexation.
Thank you. Okay.
And,
Make sure we're correct.
To make sure that there isn't any shades of gray, shall we say. They will see, you will see, some people will see, and I don't want it to be misconstrued. We've got, we replaced 3 culverts within Briarwood Bay. I believe that was back in September last year. And we knew during the drought that there would be some settling, and once we got some rain, we have the settling. We are planning to go back in as soon as it dries up a little bit and fix those 3 culverts with some hot mix to smooth it out. That will not count against you either. You could call that quasi-warranty work. It was already before the annexation, it was planned, and we're not dumping that on Cofy City to repair.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, can I ask one more question, just quick? Now, do y'all use, the crushed limestone usually as a base, or?
It depends. Depends on what the condition of the road is. We're normally using iron ore we're getting from out of Pointer. Well, actually, it's south of Frankston now. They moved to a different pit. That's where we're hauling it from.
And now do y'all haul it in just a regular 8 foot?
12-yard.
12-yard dump? Can you, are we, or as a city, are we able to purchase that from y'all?
Well, Lee, I'm glad you asked the question. I'll give you a couple examples. And,
I'm sorry, man.
in the case of patching city roads, city of Berryville will contact us and ask if we could schedule the hauling of some coal mix to their yard, and their yard is near the water plant, near their waterworks. And they will place the order with Apex over in Tyler. We send the dump trucks over, we pick up their material, and we haul it over and dump it in their waterworks yard. And then they use their pickup trucks or whatever to load it up and take it to patch the roads, the potholes that need to be.
That's good. I'm glad to know that, because, you know, we have a little situation with that right now, and before the potholes escalate, you know, once we start getting the rain, the worse they're gonna get.
That is correct.
And I remember that, you know, in years past, especially on the road I'm in, and it's been in Coffee City forever, they used to have a truck that come out, and they had a couple prisoners with some shovels, and they would throw the asphalt in the hole and kind of rake it down, and that really kept the road in check.
And we still do that.
You still do that?
We're running 2 patch trucks.
I am so glad you said that, kid.
With inmates every day.
Good, I am.
How can we get on the list?
Do 4218.
Well, I mean, we would have to work out how we're gonna do the payment first.
Okay.
Okay, now if you set up an account with Apex, and you're gonna be billed directly, then that'll make the process a lot easier.
Right.
Otherwise, you have to present the county a check. I have to turn it in at court for road repairs within Cofy City. And then I pay Apex, and
I pay you.
Yes, but you pay me first.
Okay.
This way, if you set up,
Front.
well, I mean, it complicates, it elongates the process.
Right.
In the case of, as I said, Berryville, we picked up the material they wanted, the bill went straight to sheriff. Never even touched the county's hands.
Okay.
Any monies that touch the county's hands has to run through court.
Yeah.
Well,
plain and simple.
Here's
In the
my,
case of Pointer, we did about 5 miles worth of road, on the west side of Pointer, last year. Again, we supplied the labor and the equipment, and Apex hauled all of the oil sand in, and the bill went straight to the city of Pointer.
okay. When he's out here looking at this Raw Forest Drive, could you also ask him to look right over here in the front of the community center and give me an estimate about what that 5,000 can do there, how much work you can do there? So that'll eliminate all this jibber jabber about what's here and what's there, because I know we budgeted for that parking lot. We budgeted 27,000 against the CD for that community center. So that would eliminate my street and everything else. Let's just see how much we can do with that parking lot.
Was there something in the budget for the building, for the
You know,
pavement?
are we able to?
We budgeted
I know
$20-something thousand
you mentioned that iron
for the
ore.
community center.
Are we able to
Came
purchase
short,
that
27,000
from y'all, the materials?
So
You can do it the same way with East Texas, Crush Rock.
So we
We'll
could,
haul it.
but would it be cheaper for us to get an 18, well, however big that 18-wheeler load is than it is 12, 5 or
Sure.
6 12-foot yards?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And would that be through Armor Material? Is that who you're?
We get all the iron ore and base rock from East Texas Crush Rock.
Now, is that out on 69? No.
It's over off 175, just south of Frankston now. It used to be just south of Pointer. But as I said, they just recently moved their pit.
An 18-wheeler load.
Hey, the more you buy this, the better it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
As long as we work within the agreement,
Right.
As a rule, a 12-yard dump's about $120.
For materials for the parking lot out here, so
I don't know how.
that was with the
how
building fund.
much one of those
So
big trailers
that
haul.
would be
How many
separate,
12-yard
I guess,
loads
from
will
the
that
budget.
hold?
Now you've got about 18.
That's a lot.
But I mean, they're limited on how much they can haul because of weight.
But the floorboard is,
In what area?
the floorboard is
Yeah.
they haul it 22, 23.
They
I think it probably is.
All right, well, Commissioner, I really,
I'm sorry.
I really appreciate you coming out. Like I said, since there's a little controversy about roads and this, that, I'd like to concentrate on the community center. And that way, I know we budgeted $20-some thousand against the CD for that community center. There's nothing to be said about that one way or another way. And that will help us kind of get the government off our back, because there's certain things we have to do to get that center completed. And instead of getting, I don't know if you've been over to CUNY, if you've been over to CUNY and saw that closet that they have there, that was the $250,000 grant. Yeah, if you blink, you'll miss it. And so we opted not to go with a closet. We wanted to go with a building. So a lot of we're gonna have to fund out of our own pocket. And we went into this knowing that, and that parking lot, the air conditioning system, the bathrooms are a minimum. Then we can get the state off our backs, and then we can go ahead as we can and go ahead and fill it in. So let's just concentrate on the parking lot. Don't even send them over to the Raw Forest Drive. Just ask about how much can the 5,000 do for the parking lot.
Yeah, I think that would be a priority if you could do that for us, Ken.
Yeah, don't even worry about Raw Forest. I ain't even trying to.
Okay.
And that way.
Since the funds are already appropriated for that, you said, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they were budgeted in?
Yeah.
Okay, well, see, that would be more in line with what we need to run with, I guess, then.
All right.
Yeah, 5,000 ain't gonna do a whole
We
hell of a
may
lot in
have
the
to,
parking
we
lot.
may have to do that little trick about having the materials picked up and fixing that hole ourselves.
Can
Well,
I
once
get a
we do that-
clarification on that? Are we using that CD as collateral to do this? Or are we breaking the CD to do this?
We budgeted 20-some, I don't have it in front of me, we budgeted $20-some thousand. Go ahead.
I was at the meeting where they were talking about the budget.
Hold on, Commissioner, you through? We don't wanna cut him off before you speak.
That's
No,
fine.
go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
You were struggling trying to get the money in the operating budget to do the
Exactly.
community center.
Yep.
So you elected to leave it out of the budget and decided to use the funds out of the CD to pay the city share.
Thank
So it's not in the, it's not in the operating budget.
It's not in the operating budget,
It's
but we
not.
did approve it.
Well, you more or less agreed to use funds out of the CD.
Right, because if I remember right, it was the newspaper man's idea.
Yeah, but I think you
Correct.
need to, at the point that you get ready to spend that money, it needs to be brought up and approved at a council meeting.
Sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure. It's not like I'm gonna tell you go out there and fix the parking lot tomorrow morning.
Oh, I know that.
No, yeah, definitely. But I just wanted, well, if we can work it, there's certain things we have to have done in that building. I don't know how to explain this too many times. If we don't accomplish them, we're in trouble with the government. There's certain things we have to have done by this September. Once we get those things done, then we're good as far as the building is concerned. There's certain things we can't do in that building. For those of you, whoever it was that was calling, Bill Hibbity, I told them, no, we're not gonna hold any city council meetings in there. So, but anyway, there's certain things we can't do, but certain things we have to have, the bare minimum, we have to have done. Now, if we'd have went with the nice looking closet, it'd be done. But I didn't see the need for a closet. You know, their building is probably about as big as this right here. And if you don't think that's a good building out there, a big building, go in there and look. It's a good size. So let's concentrate on that one, Commissioner. Let's see what we can do with that parking lot out there. And it's right out there in front. It's got 2 handicapped parking spaces right there. We're gonna try to do the front and the back.
All right.
And see how far we can run that 5,000, and then I will put it on the agenda to act on.
Okay.
And because I don't know if
We
these
will
folks
sit
know.
down and put together an estimate.
Okay, because regardless, citizens, whether you know it or not, with that grant, we obligated $12,500. We're gonna have to spend $12,500 whether you like it or not. And then we did an additional 20-something thousand against the CD. So we're gonna be all right. We'll make it. But right now, the contractors are requiring almost everybody that puts a nut in a boat in there to have a PhD. They have to be certified to put a screw in there. They have to be certified to put this in there. They have to be certified to put that in there. And once we get them out of the way and get them off our backs, that's all I'm gonna say. But if you can give me that estimate, Commissioner, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
And I'll bring it back up to the table. And you know I got to ask you this before you go. Is $5,000 all we can get? Is $5,000 all we can do?
Well, I think I explained that.
You did. I'm just asking. Because I'm sure you can't do that parking lot for
I'll
$5,000.
try to explain it differently.
No. I got you.
There's $10,000 this year. You just need to spend the $5,000 between,
Now,
as it says
March
in the
15th.
March the 15th. And then
Oh, I didn't have
after
that.
that, well, I've read that.
It's on the paper.
Right.
It's a
you
year
know,
Okay, that's fine.
So that's before March the 15th, we need to spend the 5.
And
We'll
then,
get that on there real quick then.
It'll be on the next agenda. Well,
Yeah.
What day is
when
it?
is the second, hell, I call
And
it
I really
special right
appreciate you coming out.
Never mind.
and the one thing that, before I leave, I want to make sure that we handed out the road list. And please understand that that road list isn't 100%, because Royal Forest has never been maintained by the county, so it's not on here. And all of the other roads within Briarwood Bay that we didn't work with the Briarwood Bay homeowners
That we have.
by my calculations, and that is up to this, for discussion.
Okay.
Now, well,
Let me do this first. We can get there when your turn.
it's my turn.
Right. 6, I think that's right. It look like 6:10. We'll call the meeting to order, Angela.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Tony Moore,
Come here.
Mayor Pro Tem John Graham,
Excuse absence.
Council members Lee Ferris,
I'm not the one who told me that my road looks worse than any, what he done?
Well, I'm just saying that I've been observing different streets that I thought was in the city, and if you'll look at that one in Raw Forest Bay, they're actually driving through the yard because the hole is so big your car will fit into it. So I think this comes under necessity more than picking.
In other words, what I'm trying to say is that I'm not the one who chose Raw Forest Drive. He's the one that came to me and said, you ought to get that regular road fixed. I've seen logging roads better than that.
It is, it's really bad, and I would have rather chose my road and had some work.
Where's this come from?
I laid it there.
Oh, okay. God, you're pulling out on us, huh?
Not really,
Okay. Well,
just following the law.
we're good.
So that's the amount of road you come to that.
Yeah, that's what it was, because it was involved with so many kids.
No, in the interlocal agreement.
Eight nurses, eight.
Right.
I did mostly for slave,
Okay, you didn't
Nah,
look at
John won't be
the
here.
facilities,
Get a little
because they
room
require a lot of stuff. Those hospitals.
under the weather. All right. Get this thing going.
Here.
Pam Drost,
Here.
Darlene Jordan,
Here.
and Mike Abishon.
Present.
I determine that we do have a quorum, Angela. All right, item number 3. Yeah, I know, it's supposed to be 3. I see it first. Commissioner Geisler interlocal agreement when funds become readily available. Repair on the roads beginning with Ross Forest Drive. Before I turn it over to the commissioner, let me first say this. I saw one of those dumb sites they got up that, why would I choose my road first? Just for the record, and let the records show,